My people, let's go. Welcome back to season 1, episode 111 show. One of the hottest sports shows to hit the airwaves this year. We're growing by leaps and bounds. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to make sure everybody do a couple things for me as we get started. For one, make sure you like the show. For two, make sure you share the show with people that you know to make sure we get those people over here watching it. And the most important part, three, make sure you subscribe and like this show. Tonight, just like episode 1, we came in with a bang. We going out with a bang on episode 111, and I mean a bang. Tonight, coming from Tobacco Roads, and if those basketball players and those people that know basketball, you know what I'm talking about Tobacco Road. But before we talk about that, Val, you know what to do. Drop it.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up.
Welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast show with your boy, the one and only Coach Tony. Telling tonight, coming from Tobacco Road. I mean, deep in the Tobacco Road. From, as they say, Michael Jordan country. First team, all ACC. Yes, I didn't stutter. First team, all ACC. 517 career assists. That means for you young people that's watching this show tonight, we're going to talk about that, man, Coach. That means no ball hogging. That means watching and seeing your players giving a rock up, not worried about being me first. Share with your team, then come get yours. 38% career field goal three-point percentage. And here's the killer, though. 251 threes in the career to rank third best in the ACC. Then all that hard work, you know what it got my guest tonight? You know what it got her? It got my guest a first round, 11th pick overall draft to the San Antonio Stars, traded to the Indiana Fever. It's the one and only, my friend, Coach Coretta Brown. Let's go. Bring up on here, Val.
Hey, what's going on, Tony?
Coach, what's good tonight?
The draft. The draft.
Hey, you know, I sit back and say, you know, to be in position to make sure that everything goes wonderful, I want to make sure I just thank you, first of all, because like you said, the draft, you know what I mean? And somebody like yourself that's been through the experience of what we're watching tonight, I know you already tuned in. So thank you very much for coming in tonight on the Pull Up Podcast show.
I appreciate you having me.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to get started here. We want to let the audience know, again, who we are, what's going on around here. Take us back. You a Georgia girl, right?
Born and raised, South Georgia. Yes, sir.
I was looking at that South Georgia. I'm thinking to myself, okay, he came out of Bullock High School in Brooklyn, Georgia. Is that down close to Valdosta?
Southeast Bullock in Brooklyn, Georgia. Yeah, we're probably about maybe an hour and a half from Valdosta, Georgia. So
what's the closest major city to where you grew up?
Probably Savannah.
Savannah, okay.
Savannah's like 30 minutes. Yeah.
You on that borderline over there. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So let's take us back to these high school days when you started to get down on those courts. How were you introduced to the game of basketball? Did you have some siblings that played sports and kind of like you tagged along and all of a sudden you was that extra man that had to be that player to play ball? Or was it just, you know, walking through the neighborhoods and, you know, just got out and started playing? How did you get introduced to the game of basketball?
Siblings, not even close. I'm the baby of 4, all girls, my lucky dad.
Okay.
And they were all like book smarts, cheerleaders, homecoming queens.
Right.
I had a sister that ran track, but none of them touched basketball. So I was actually introduced to the game by my mom. My mom played. And
okay.
Yeah, my mom played. So we were coming home. I was 5 years old. We were coming home one day, and I saw my neighbors. They were outside. And I asked my mom, I was like, what are they doing? She's like, oh, that's basketball. It's a game. And she could kind of see like I'm just staring, like would not stop staring. And she was like, well, do you want to go over there? And ever since then, it was a wrap. So growing up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like it's just me and the guys. I got a neighbor to my right, that's a guy playing ball. Got a neighbor to my left, that's a guy playing ball. So I was always at either one of their houses, just on the dirt court, just getting beat up.
Right. See, people don't understand that. See, they listen to the show tonight. They think you out there on the driveway. Driveway is dirt, dirt court.
The driveway to 2024, we was dirt. We was South dirt. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you something. I used to have to come down to Alabama where my relatives are and stay out of gang violence in Chicago. I grew up. And we had a lot that had a telephone pole, that big old black telephone pole, with a piece of wood that was the backboard with a gold nail to it, but it was solid. We had about probably 3 or 4 pieces of wood, plywood, so it was real hard. It was a true backboard. But we played and started out in grass, Coach Brown. Started out, and by the time we got finished a few weeks later, that grass was a full dirt basketball court.
Yep, that's how it be. That's how it be.
And that was the rule. You as I was coming, probably like yourself, when you're deep in the South, you get 3 rules. Get out of my house and don't come back. Second rule, if you come back, you ain't going outside. And the third rule is don't let the street lights catch you.
That's it. Street lights. But I was a kid, and kudos to my parents. I always had a goal up. I asked for a new basketball every Christmas. I always got a basketball every Christmas. Like it would be raining, really going crazy. Like, girl, get your behind in the house. Like it would be raining. Like it didn't matter to my parents.
Oh man, that's when the dedication started. When you can get out there. I had my son laughing. I told him some of the neighbors thought we were ridiculous, but we literally found a house in the neighborhood, Coach Brown, that he didn't even have any kids. But we went back there because he had a basketball court and his kid had gone on to school. And he was like, if I can help keep you guys off the street, you can come back in the backyard anytime you want. Sometimes I would find myself in his backyard playing one-on-one with myself. I would bring the garbage cans out wintertime, take the gloves and cut the fingertips out. Yep. That's when you're dedicated to the game.
That's that love. It's irreplaceable. I remember going to family functions. My new ball that I got every Christmas, it was everywhere with me. My mom, leave that ball. I'm going to the family functions, dribbling. They leave the ball at the house. It was just an instant love for the game that's still there to this day.
Oh yes. Now, when you get up to Bullock High School, so now you going in. Did you start out JV? Did you make varsity right away? How was that process in high school?
Yeah. So when I got to Southeast Bullock, I actually played varsity when I was in 8th grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I actually played up at that time, and I mean it was kind of like eye-opener at first, because even in the 7th grade, the coach was, we're going to play you up and possibly play varsity. And to me, junior varsity, like, I really didn't care. Like, I didn't even know what that meant at the time.
You're like, Coach, I'm in the backyard to book my homies. Right, it don't matter.
Just give me the ball. I just want to play, So I definitely think playing up. And I remember my 8th grade year, like the seniors that I had, like their leadership. That was my first introduction. I'm a big family person. That was my first introduction of family on the court, and like being around them and them just welcoming me in, even, it's 8th grade. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm skinny. I'm a number 2 pencil, but just like the love of them surrounding me, I think kind of helped elevated me to the next level.
Oh yeah. And you mentioned that. So at that time, I'm assuming 7th, 8th grade, because you ended up growing to 5'9", 5'10". So at that time, about how tall were you in 7th and 8th grade? As you probably were a peak sweep then.
I was probably close to the same height. Like I kind of peaked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they say females mature and we grow a little faster than y'all both.
Yeah. So you put that height and weight on it, and then you kind of settle down a little bit.
Oh yeah. Like I remember me and my cousin, because he played too at the time, and we were both like giants. You look at our class pictures, it's us, and then it's everybody else. Right. So yeah.
That is crazy. So now you playing in there, you get an opportunity to play varsity. Did you have the opportunity to make it to a state championship or win one, or at least get to where you were competitive enough that the team had a chance to go to state?
Yeah, so we did make it to state. I think I forget what year it is, a long time ago. But I remember us winning the region, and I was like, I think the first time or the second time that the school had ever won the region. And so it was like this huge, big ordeal. They won region, and us them sending us to state and all of that. But you got to remember at the time, like I grew up at a high school. We were 1A, 2A.
Oh, okay. So you're small.
So
You down there country 1A, yeah.
Small, one of them where I remember one season where I had to jump, tip the ball, and then go get it back and run the point. So it was kind of like one of those situations. So for us to be able to make it to state, like it was a pretty big deal. Never won a state championship, but
right. But still, I mean, I know how that was because so it's like kind of my relative. You're in a situation where most of the time it is like one high school in the whole county.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And depending on the side, like I said, 1A, 2A, 3A, you were the one high school for the 1A, and another high school for 2A, and so forth and so on.
Yep, that was pretty much it. We were the small school in the county.
Right. So looking at that, was there anyone in your school in East Bullock that had gone on even to go play big time college basketball or anything prior to you?
Not that I remember. I had a couple of teammates of mine that played with me. They had opportunities to go D1 to play, but a lot of them turned it down. But for me, who I looked up to, and it's actually why I wear the number 14, my cousin who played on the guys' side. I remember going to the high school games because, again, small town, right. The games, that was the dude. Like, you wasn't nothing if you wasn't at the games. So
you got to be at them games. Friday or Saturday night, whole town shut down. Whole town shut down for one game.
That's it. You got to be at the games. And so I always remember, like, he was the man, like he was the man. And so he's actually the reason that I wear number 14. But in regards to females coming out of high school and going on and play, I don't remember everything. We have a couple on the NFL side that actually went on and played in the NFL, but none on the collegiate women's basketball side.
Yeah, so that was my next question I was going to ask you about the inspiration. So you got your cousin, you're wearing that number. Was there something significant because you felt that was kind of like that person that was kind of molding your game, so to speak? So, he was doing his thing with the boys, you doing your thing with the girl. So both of y'all, it was easy to find that both of y'all were 14.
Yeah, and he was like my cousin. He was literally like 3 houses down from me. So I'm like, okay, he the man. I'm finna be the woman, and I'm finna wear the same. I'm finna keep it in the family, I'm finna wear the same.
I'm about to be the BWC on the big lady on the camp.
Exactly. We finna own it. Yeah. So he was a lot of motivation for me, like going to the games and watching him play. Yeah. Now,
did he go on to play any place big?
No, he actually serves. Still serving the country to this day. Yeah.
Still serving the country today. Put his time in, went on. Man, that's awesome. Hey, thank you guys for watching right now on the Pull Up Podcast show. I got the one and only Coach Coretta Brown on air with us tonight, talking everything from UNC basketball all the way to our current situation. So make sure you like us, you share, and more importantly, subscribe to the show. Now, looking at that, Coach, and you're sitting down in a small town and you get that opportunity to do something. Did you guys get to go and play like South Gwinnett, or you get to go over to maybe over into Atlanta area and play some of them teams out of Atlanta?
Nah, we pretty much stayed local. It wasn't until I started playing AAU. So my AAU team was actually the Atlanta Dream, which was based out of Atlanta.
Oh, you played with the Dream.
I played with the Dream. The Dream was dreaming. Yeah. So
yeah,
I played with them.
So that's funny. So I'm good friends with Dollar Bill.
No way.
Before he passed. So I remember Dollar Bill when Dollar was running the Atlanta Dream on the girl and the Atlanta Express with the boys. Mm-hmm. And I never forget, we went down, I'm going to have you laughing with this one. I went down to do 2 camps with Coach Longford in Milledgeville. 1 train track, the Walmart, and that was the rest of the town.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm coming down from Chicago. I'm like, where am I at?
You in South Georgia, baby.
Yeah, South Georgia, deep in South Georgia. But yes, for those that don't know, if you're coming down 75 and once you come from Dalton, Georgia, Coach Longford's name right there on that big wall, Hall of Fame, Coach in Georgia market. So you got to know exactly who he is, and that's awesome. So now you're sitting up there and you're having to take the choice. How did the scholarship offers start to come in? Were there a lot? Were there a few? Did you already kind of know where you wanted to go?
It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot. When I started playing with the Dream, of course, we're going to all the big tournaments. This was back when AAU Nationals used to be in Indy. We make that, playing 3-4 games a day. And ever since I started playing AAU and kind of got my name out there, that's when the letters just started rolling in. The letters rolling in, the calls rolling in. I remember like literally begging my mom, because my mom was the type of mom I had to talk to every coach. Like it didn't matter if you called at 10 p.m. If you called,
right? Let me get on the phone.
I got to call every coach. I got to fill out every questionnaire. You know, my mom was, if they're taking the time to recruit you, like the least you can do is respond. And
Exactly.
so it was a lot. Like the recruiting process for me in high school, I just remember it being a lot. And that was part of the reason that, you know, I just decided to commit early. Coming into ninth grade, obviously I'm from Georgia. So UGA was like the big school.
Yep.
The majority of my administrators went to UGA or UGA fans. So, you know, coming into high school, that's all I heard. UGA. You know, so I show up first day of freshman in high school, and I got this big letter from UGA. Hey, welcome to high school, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so I'm committed. I'm going to UGA. Like it's
first year freshman.
It's a wrap.
That gotta be nice. That right there already solidifies what I'm about to be doing the next few years.
Yeah.
You know,
and so it was
that's incredible.
So that was my mindset coming into ninth grade year. But obviously, you know, as it goes on, I'm getting recruited by more people, and you know, ended up
you start to make them decisions of how you wanted to do.
Yep, for sure.
We are talking to Coach Brown. We are after the first quarter. We're going to take a quick break. Val's going to pay some bills. We'll be right back to the show on the Pull Up Podcast show.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast show, which one and only your guy, host Coach Tony. And we have got my guest on tonight, Coach Coretta Brown. Now, Coach, you come into school, as we were just talking about, everything is all Georgia Bulldogs, right? Everything. And Coach Landon was my man. I loved him down there at Georgia. He was a legend. He used to come here in Nashville. He recruited Dee Harrison before she went to UT, right? So you remember all that. And Harrison's had a lot because they had the baby girl was coming through. And I got a chance to meet Coach, and he was awesome, gave me his number, I kept in touch with him and all that. So you are sitting with the opportunity, basically, the door is wide open to go down there. When did Tobacco Road show up?
So again, you know, I'm playing AAU. We're making nationals. We were this big time AAU. I'm getting all this exposure, and they may have showed up like the end of my sophomore, junior year. You know, and like you just got to know my background. So even when I'm playing on the dirt roads, I used to watch. I'm aging myself here, but I used to watch VHS tapes of Michael Jordan. Like there
you go. I still got mine.
Listen, I do too. My parents still got it. You know, like I used to watch
playing. I still got them.
Religiously. I'm a huge MJ fan. And so when North Carolina came in the picture, like my eyes were instantly like, whoa, this is where MJ played.
Correct.
You know? So it kind of went to where it was a period to where UGA had kind of stopped recruiting me. And Andy Lander said this, like I actually did a home visit with them. And he said that. He was like, you know, it was some tournament I played in. And his recruiting coordinator at the time came back and pretty much told him, it was like, yeah, she's not good enough. Fast forward to a year, and he's like, when he came on my home visit, he was like, yeah, I fired that recruiting coordinator.
I fired him.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you are good enough. You know, but at that time, you know, you got the University of North Carolina, you got Tennessee, you got UK, like you got all these other programs, and I'm just
because you're sitting there still at the time that Pat Summitt's around.
Yep. Yeah,
so you're sitting there with the SEC in the back door. At that time, South Carolina wasn't that great. No. They were the bottom feeder. It mid to bottom. So and Kentucky wasn't on the map. You know, Alabama was nowhere to be heard. And basically Tennessee ran the league, and you had Florida doing okay. Ole Miss and Mississippi State was a little bit there, but Georgia and Tennessee, they were like the cream of the crop.
Yep,
at that time.
They were running it. Yeah, for sure they were running it in the South.
Oh, that's amazing. So now you get down to Tobacco Road, and you walk in. What was it like? That here it is, because like those VHS tapes you were watching, I'm in Chicago during the time of the 90s. I was hanging out at the game, could see Mike them up front, close and personal, you know, at camps, at, you know, leagues and the whole 9 yards. But now you're down in Raleigh, you're down in Carolina. and you're down there where the most, I guess, competitive, as they say, 3 or 4 teams. Because you got Wake on one side, Duke on another side, NC State up the street, and then it's you guys in UNC. Yeah. That's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like basketball heaven. It's like the best way to describe it, you know.
It's got to be trash talking constantly.
Got to be. And it's a lot of trash talking. I think the regular student body kind of take it to the extreme, but it's actually a lot of respect, like amongst the players, you know.
Yes. And then you come in. Now, how good was Carolina team at the year you came in? Were they kind of middle of the pack? Were they riding pretty tough?
Yeah, so Carolina women's basketball was on the peak. You know, that was at the time. Warner Brown.
Yes.
Nikki Teasley came in, played USA.
Oh, Nikki Teasley. I remember Nikki Teasley.
Yep, played USA basketball. So they were kind of on the rise coming into it. And I mean, Carolina, on how I chose Carolina, it's just on my recruiting visit. And fun fact, I actually only took one visit. I only out of the 5 visits I took one visit, and that was Carolina.
Right. Sometimes they say that's all you need, just one time, right?
When you know, you know. When you know, you know. You know, so I get to Carolina, and I'll never forget it. We're on Franklin Street, and I'm in the car with the players, and they're all yelling out the window. They're like, "Hey, Vince, come here. We got this recruit." And so when Vince Carter comes up to the window, like, "Hey, what's up? You need to come to Carolina." All right, yeah, you're right, Vince.
Right. I don't need no more. I got Michael Jordan's territory, and I got Vince Carter telling me what I need. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm in the right place. Place.
You talking about Vince, Rasheed Wallace, Stackhouse? Yeah, you down there. They were loaded.
It's deep. I say all the time, UNC, University of National Champions. Like, we pump them out basketball. It's a basketball.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. And speaking of pumping out, you didn't get there and just was glad to be there. You got there and want to work.
Yeah, I was on a mission. So it's so funny, like, and I actually went back and kind of did my homework after I did another podcast a couple of years ago, because in my mind, like how I remember it was that I wasn't getting these opportunities. Right. You know, I was like, I come in freshman year. Actually, my freshman year, me and my roommate, we talked about transferring, you know, because in my mind, I'm like, why am I not starting? Why am I not playing the whole game? Like, coach, you need to realize what you got. Like, put me in. So when I called my mom, and I'm like, I'm not happy, you know, because I'm not playing. Like, I am a basketball junkie. Like, I love the game. And she was like, well, what's wrong? Like, are they mistreating you? What? I'm like, nah, it's cool. Like, they love me here. It's cool, but I'm not playing. And she was like, that's it? You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Yeah, she was like,
you doing I want you to. I just went through that this weekend with my team coming back. We was up in Cincinnati playing, and it is good to have you on that sideline, given the wisdom and experience, especially that. We'll get down to that, talk to that in a little bit. But looking at what you just said, you know, you got a mom that's grounded. She's already played. She understands the game. She's been seeing you in this dirt yard with the boys on the block. She's seen that your best cousin, he's gone in the military, but you had the opportunity to extend the opportunity to play sports. And now it's gotten you down in the Michael Jordan territory with an opportunity. Because in the back of mom's mind, she's saying, hey, my daughter's getting a free education at one of the best schools in the country. And if she does what she has to do, she has an opportunity at the next level. So then you decide to settle down, start to really focus, stop probably complaining about stuff, start showing them what you can do. When did coach realize, hey, I know we got a good player, we now need to start promoting her?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like, now that I'm more mature, I look back, I think coach always knew. You know, I think she always knew. It was just me coming in freshman year, you know.
You want it right now.
Yeah, like, I want it like yesterday. Like, I'm here to make a difference. I want to win the ACC championship. I want to win a national championship. Like, I had all these crazy ambitions, and I wanted it to happen freshman year. Forgetting the fact that I'm playing behind Warner Brown and Nikki Teasley, who play USA basketball. Forget about that.
When you want to miss it like that, Coach Brown, you don't care about all that. You're like,
I'm on my mission. I'm on my mission.
On my mission. I know they doing what they doing, but I need to get mine.
Yeah, so it was so funny. So, like, me and my roommate, I called my mom, she called her mom, and they were both like, yeah, no, neither one of y'all are leaving. So I was like, well, mama say I can't leave, so I might as well get to work. And that's what I did.
And imagine, we're talking about back then when you had to kind of hang in there. Imagine right now, Coach Brown, if you was in what these new kids got with this NIL and this transfer portal.
Man, I could have retired my parents over a decade ago.
Right.
It's like me and my friends that play, we joke about that all the time. But I mean, I'm so happy for these young ladies. I'm glad that the game is there to where they can, go buy their parents' houses or, support their family in their way. Like it's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. And now you didn't shortstop at all. I mean, you came up with a couple of ESPN plays the other day, doing your thing and whatnot. And then, where did you learn how to shoot like that? Because you were more out of high school, basically a playmaker. But then you get to NC, because you had, like I said, a little height, a little bit taller than most of the average guards. You could kind of see over them. If you had to, you could post them up. And then you was always, defensive. You was tough. But now, all of a sudden, here comes this three-point facade. And you shoot 38% and then knock down, a slew of three-pointers to put yourself in a high ranking of the ACC conference. That had to be a heck of a year.
Yeah, and it's so funny because my position coach at the time, Andrew Calder, love him to death. He's still one of my best mentors to this day. Right. He knew how to push me. Him, Coach Hatchell, they knew how to push me. That's why I say I think freshman year they knew what they had. Like they could ride me in practice because it wasn't going to break me. It's just going to get me mad and it's going to drive me to do more. And I think they knew that. And so for me, like I credited my shooting to him. Coming into it, I'm just a basketball fiend. Like I just want to get better. I'm a playmaker, all of that. Like I couldn't shoot. My form was jacked up, and I mean jacked up. Like it was ugly.
Yeah, because like you said, you're a playmaker. Yeah, and now you got to learn that part of the game. It's kind of like, like the God, like they call Black Jesus. Yeah. Black Jesus was playing, and he was dunking on everybody. Once Detroit started putting him on his butt, Mike started learning how to shoot the three.
That's it. And so, coming into college, like my position coach actually helped me groom. My form was jacked up because I'm used to playing against guys. So I'm used to getting my shot blocked. So I had to come up with creative ways to get my shot off. He instantly fixed that, and he's actually one of the reasons that I coach to this day. Like every player, I don't care who it is, like they have that one coach that just impacts you like that, and for me, like it was absolutely him, like taking the time out. I remember coming in his office, watching video of WNBA players, talking about reads and all this other stuff. And like, he really just elevated my mind and opened me up to a lot of new stuff.
Oh yeah. Because at that time, you come from a small town. So I don't even know if you guys even recorded the games in high school.
Nah, wasn't no film.
Yeah, now you get to college where film and basketball is a class.
Yep.
And a lot of these young kids that want this don't understand that's a class. I tell my players all the time, Coach, I owe you at least 9 months out of your year. And that's what I'm gonna get in 9 months.
It is a classroom because any good coach is a teacher first. Like you gotta be able to teach the game. So it's a classroom. It is.
Exactly. Now you're breaking them off. Not only do you get the 3-point side of the house, but you drop 517 dimes on them. So it wasn't like you were just shooting all the time. You were sharing the ball.
It's easy, Tony. I wanted to win. Like for me, and even to this day, like I just had one of my players literally ask me this last week. It's like, what's the most points you ever scored? Or what was your average in college? And I'm like, I don't know. But I can tell you the games that we won or lost, because I was never in it for like the individual stuff. Like individually, I just wanted to get better. And I just wanted to win. Like that was the bottom line.
Give me the categories. Let me scratch them.
That's it. Yep. So I wasn't in it for the points. I'll never forget. This was one post-game interview. And it's so funny, like the certain stuff that I remember from college. But we had just played Wake and we won. And the reporter after the game, he was like, you didn't really, I didn't think I made a three or something like that. But he was like, but you went 8 for 8 from the free throw line. And at the time, and that got the biggest smile for me because what the reporter didn't know was the last 3-4 games leading up to that, like me and my position coach, like I was struggling from the free throw line, with my form. So to hear, like I went 8 for 8 and we won, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sitting on cloud 9. And he's like, you literally got 8 points from the free throw line. But I'm like, yeah. So I got better and the team won. So I'm cool with that.
That's a win-win. We got the dub. It ain't always got to be on my back as long as we can get it. Don't matter how we got it.
Win-win. Yep, win-win.
Yeah, that's great. And now you're sitting up, and now you became one of 20 people finalists for the Naismith Award. I mean, you was really. I mean, what was your attitude, Coach, with your teammates? Now, I talk about this as a coach, and I tell them about, if you ain't playing, well, I need you to play me. You're gonna have a problem. I don't care if it's a halftime. after the game or whatever it is, because I know how I wanted to win. And what was it to you at the same time as a player? And now you guys are, the program's on the rise. You play behind 2 future WNBA, and now you're sitting there saying it's about to be my time. I got all these accolades over here, but I hang them up on the wall because I want to win more than anything. What was your attitude as a guard, talking to your teammates to make sure everybody was on the same page?
Yeah, it was the coach on the floor. Like it was literally like I'm pretty sure, and I tell my players this all the time. Like if you ask any of my teammates, any of them that play with me in Carolina, they will tell you, playing with Coretta, she was an absolute B. they will tell you that she was a B because I was competitive. I didn't take plays off, and anybody that was on that court with me with the same jersey, you're gonna have to match my energy.
Right, that's it.
And anytime you didn't, like you're not gonna hear from coach, you're gonna hear from me in the huddle. Like I would be the first one. Like, hey, nah, you got to grab that rebound. We need that. Like that's not good enough.
There you go.
I remember certain games to where if our center wasn't doing something, I would literally go over to coach and be like, Coach, she got to go. Like you got to give me something else because she's not getting it done right now. And we losing. Like we're not trying to lose. And she would actually listen. Listen.
Coach, I'm telling you, you making me just smile right now because I tell my team I'm coaching all the time. And I remember when I had my early AAU when I won my first national championship. And girls, you guys used to go to Indiana, but we used to go to Florida all the time. And my team used to hold me accountable. And I used to tell them, if you got somebody on the floor that ain't giving to you, just come over here and let me know. Now, I'm not going to take them out right away because you say so, but I'm going to look at them a play or two, and then I'm going to see, and I'm going to get them out because you got to be on the floor and be able to perform with them. So that's amazing.
Yep, that's got to be it. And I even do that to my players to this day. I'm like, they come to the bench. What is it that you see? Because it's not, I know what I see, but you're out there. So I'm always encouraging them, like, have a feel for the game. You're out there with the other four. Like, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? Like, we're in this together, and we both want to win. So let's get the job done.
Man, we are having a wonderful conversation with Coach Coretta Brown, dropping nuggets, learning a little bit for those guys that got their ears on. Man, please make sure you write some of this stuff down. This is some of the things I'm always talking about. But we're at halftime right now. We're going to take a quick break. Val, let's pay some bills. We'll be right back to the Pull Up Podcast show.
Super Bowl. Do you think that Usher was the best, or was it Beyonce, or was it Kira and J-Lo? Who had the best performance?
Oh gosh. So I never say who's the best or who's the worst. I think in each of their own ways, everyone is to get to play the Super Bowl as an artist in itself is fantastic. I think Usher went through his discography perfectly. Having her come on stage and play the guitar is such a special thing. I think when artists get to invite other artists on stage, it's such a great moment to like share the love and share. And so every artist, like Coldplay bringing Beyonce and Bruno Mars, he didn't have to. Shakira and J-Lo, right? I think it's really important instead of like, who's the best, getting to realize you could do this moment by yourself and it would still be iconically as good. Usher could have been just himself, like Rihanna did just herself. Right. But he chose, especially to bring female artists on the stage. It's just beautiful, beautiful.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast show. Sitting here talking to the one and only Coach Coretta Brown. And you know how it is, Coach. We come out of halftime. We're ready to second half. It's ready to clamp down. We got to get this win.
You got to start the third quarter, first 5 minutes.
Exactly. Glad to see some of our guys in the chat here. Let me pull up. I got some stuff here. Give me a moment. I'm going to pull up a couple of things here. I've got a couple of people want to ask a couple of questions here. All right, now let's get back in. We were talking a moment ago. So now you finish it up at NC. Now your name is starting to pop up on the awards, doing this and that. Now all of a sudden, the hype's around where you may go, looking at the WNBA draft. You got to be pumped up right now.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. First semester, my senior year was a little rough, because it's a buzz around my name nationally. And so I just felt this overwhelming pressure, like pressure to perform, which I've never felt before, because I just go out and hoop, I just go out and play. But that freshman year of my senior year, I felt like just this overwhelming pressure. I'm just like, where's all this coming from? And so I just had to relax. I had to talk to my coaches and just shift my focus, like, okay, yeah, they're talking, the interviews and all of that, but it's almost like I got to get rid of that and just keep the focus. The focus is what makes me happy is competing, getting better to win, and still trying to get to that Final Four, get Carolina back to that championship game. So, I just had to learn to kind of get rid of all that, which actually still helps me today in my coaching career. Just get rid of all the noise and just what's the main thing? Focus on the main thing. Keep the main thing, and just focus on your focus.
Exactly. I got my guy Mark Lee. He's always on the show. Said hello, congratulations. He loves to have you. He's a big time UNC fan. His question to you is, what did you like so much about UNC sports and being in that area? Because again, UNC is there, State's there, Wake up the street, and Duke. At that time, because at that time as well, Duke on the men's side of the house, they carry that big logo as well. So how was it, those rivalry games right there had to be crazy, because the next few days, y'all talking trash just around town, right there within a few miles.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was crazy. First of all, Mark, anybody who's a Carolina got to be a good man. So shout out to Mark. Anybody who's Carolina, they got to be a good man. But it was actually one of the reasons that I chose Carolina. Again, like ever since I was 5 and got introduced to the game, I love the game. And so going there in the Triangle area, you got Carolina, you got NC State, you got Duke over here, all within like 45 minutes of each other. And then you got Wake Forest, like all of those schools are all within proximity. Like we partied together, so that was heaven for me. And then on top of that, the cherry on top, I'm at the school where Michael Jordan played, who's like my GOAT. It's still my GOAT to this day, so it was like the best 4 years of my life, honestly.
Oh man, that's amazing. Then you get out, you hit the draft. And now you're getting picked up in the draft. First round, 11th pick overall to San Antonio. And you get ready to go to San Antonio, and then they decide to make a quick shift and send you to Indiana. That's a big difference in weather. Yeah,
it was. I love playing for Indiana, but look back at it now, I'm like, man, San Antonio, that would have been dope, but no, like going to the Indiana Fever, I mean, just being drafted, like they could have sent me anywhere. Obviously, when I was playing, Orlando and Miami used to have a team, for me being from Georgia, I had my 2 older sisters live in Florida. I'm like, man, like I would love to get drafted by them. Of course, they folded by the time the draft came around, but
sure.
So I'm at that point, I'm just like anywhere, like I don't care who drafts me, like nothing's going to change. I'm still going to put in the work. My mindset is still the same. I was never afraid of hard work, never afraid of doing the extra, like every single year I want to continue to get better and better and better. So getting drafted in Indiana, man, it was draft night. Which is draft night.
And our producer that works with us on Tuesday night, Kevin Springer, says, while you was growing up, was there any professional basketball players that was in the area that now that you become a professional yourself, that kind of was dropping nuggets and giving you some, hey, if this happened one day and you had the opportunity to become in the WNBA, was there any ball players in the area from Georgia where you were from originally that was kind of helping out? Or was it kind of when you got to Carolina, you got Vince Carter and those guys around that you were seeing get ready to be NBA players?
Yeah, growing up in my hometown, it wasn't. It wasn't until I got to Carolina. And actually, when I got drafted and played, I played against 2 of my coaches at the time, Sylvia Crawley and Charlotte Smith. So I got all of my nuggets, like both of them coached me in college. So I got my nuggets on, and on how to be a professional from them, and again, like back to me being a family person, it's so funny how God works, because he knows us better than we know ourselves. And so I talked about in high school, how even as a freshman coming in, like I was surrounded by family. Same thing. I go to Carolina, I'm surrounded by family. Like all of the upperclassmen just kind of, hey, rookie, this is the Carolina way. We don't like like we do not like Duke. Like that was the first thing I was.
Don't like Duke. Don't. As a matter of fact, you can't even use the word D out your mouth.
Right. Like we don't like them. So again, surrounded by family. And luckily for me, my rookie season playing with the Indiana Fever, like that was the best thing for me, because you're looking at my superstars, Niele Ivey, Bridget Pettis, the great Tamika Catchings, all amazing.
UT.
They're ball players, but they're amazing human beings, So for me, with the family aspect coming into them, I think that was the absolute best situation for me, hands down.
And it was so funny because Tamika's dad is a Chicago guy like myself and Harvey, and big time ball players people don't realize and know. And so that was just wonderful to have Catchings come down here to go to school, and then go back to Indiana and play ball. That was absolutely phenomenal. Now you're sitting at Indiana. You guys got nice accolades and all that. What were your goals? So you had already had goals in high school. You already had goals once you hit Carolina, and Carolina taught you patience, told you that you'll get it done. Just be patient. We got you. We need to develop you. Now you get to Indiana. What were your goals then once you hit the WNBA?
Same, team first, make the playoffs. That was the goal. At the time, the Indiana Fever, had never made the playoffs. So that was the goal, make the playoffs and go on a championship run. Again, like I was never in it for the individual accolades. I wanted to impact winning. That right. Simple. I wanted to impact winning. If that means I got to hit 14 threes, okay, pass me the rock.
But see, you didn't have to do that because you actually had baby Jordan with you because Catchings at the time was considered like baby Jordan coming out. She was ridiculous.
Tony, I robbed them folks. Playing with Tamika Catchings, I robbed them. I ain't have to work. All I had to do was sit in the corner.
I'm telling you.
You can knock it down. That's an easy job. Yeah,
easy job. I was like, oh, and that team you guys had was just like insane. So, I mean, what give the people kind of a idea in terms of practices. You're in Carolina practice, which is already rough enough. Then you get to the league. What was the difference or the big change? One of the questions says, you're coming out of college practice and you got that high level of Carolina tobacco, but now you step it up where now you're a paid athlete in the league. What was the difference in the practice in terms of how you guys carried on your day?
Yeah, you got to learn how to be a pro. In my rookie season, I had to figure that out. Because you go from Carolina to where we're using our 3 hours. Like we're going 3 hours hard and we running. Yeah. And then you get to the pros, like vets not doing that. They're not practicing 3 hours. And so you still got all these hours and 24 hours in a day. You still got all this time. It's like what you do. Like you got to figure it out how to be a pro. And again, I had people like Tamika, Natalie Williams, who they will always do more. Like it wasn't just practice.
Right.
The team gets better in practice. That's team concepts. But if you want to continue to be a pro, you better make sure you're getting better. So for me, it was, you get to practice early, rookie season, the whole initiation. I got to bring everybody breakfast sandwiches.
You got to do that. You got to don't forget to grab the bags and the balls too.
That's it. Don't forget the grape jelly. So you got that. You got to get there before practice. Our strength coach, he was amazing. Sometimes we would lift after practice. Me and some of my teammates after practice, it's always extra shots. It's always extra. And again, like that's one of the main things that I was taught my rookie season. Practice over. I'm like, okay, now what? And I see a vet point guard is playing before me. She's setting up cones, and I'm like, what you doing? She's like, I'm finna work on my ball handling. So
right.
I'm grabbing the ball. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing what she's doing. Like it's all.
That's now the business of basketball hits you, and now you make a leap from Naptown to the Chi, because you know how we do at home. So now you come to Chicago, and now you're a member of the Chicago Sky. What were you thinking right there? Did you think that, it's just business, or did you think, man, maybe I didn't perform or do something I was supposed to do?
Man, to be honest, how Chicago even came into play was crazy. Because at the time, when I left Indiana, I'm like, okay, where am I at? I had knee surgery, injuries just starting to plague. I get invited to training camp, pull my quad in training camp, get kicked out of training camp at this team over here. So I'm just like, okay, am I about to retire? So literally when I was playing with Chicago at the time, I was working at Georgia Tech with their women's basketball staff, like already trying to get into my coaching career.
Right.
And my agent called me just out the blue. Like the season had already started. I actually joined the Chicago Sky the second half of the WNBA season. Called and said, hey, the Sky, they're looking for players. They're looking to add to their roster. This is their inaugural season, like their first time in the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the coach wants to fly you out for a trial. This was like 2 weeks before the trial. Now, obviously I'm still working, I'm still working.
You still doing everything you do, yeah.
But I ain't in pro shape.
Right.
Like I'm in shape, but I ain't in.
I'm in shape, but I'm not ready to get up back down that court.
So I went to the strength coach at Georgia Tech. I'm like, look, I got this pro training in 2 weeks. He was like, here, do this. And I've always been a pretty disciplined person. So it was just 2 weeks. I go there, I try out, make the team. Next thing you know, I'm packing up, leaving Atlanta, going to Chicago to finish out the rest of the WNBA season with their inaugural season.
I want you guys to hear what she just said. No, I'm going to rewind that tape and we do old school style. She said, as she got an injury at that time, working us say way back and get out of here. Because that's what I want these kids to understand. I tell these guys all the time, Coach Brown, a professional athlete, doesn't matter what sport, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever, soccer, an athlete is one injury away from coming home.
For sure.
One injury. That real athlete can fight through it, and sometimes, depending on the injury, you can't. So that's as real talk, as real as you can get. Liz, we're having a candid conversation with Coretta Brown. Coach Brown, I'm loving it right now, coming from Tobacco Road to the league. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit about women's basketball and the draft tonight. Val, let's pay the last bill of the night.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor. How beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
Right. And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol?
No, I'm just saying. She's showing up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She's ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself called My Man's in Them.
I love it.
And look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in them. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like, I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, I'm authoring right now. You guys are funny.
Down the stretch. Man, they got me hyped right there, Coach. I'm ready to get back on the sideline.
I love that video, Coach. I love it.
Man, I love that video. Welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show with your guy. We're sitting here talking to Coach Coretta Brown of EKU. So let's slide over there since we just watched that video. So now, as you just mentioned earlier, you get that opportunity. You kind of get the coaching bug. You still trying to decide whether you got a few more years to go, but you want to coach, but you still want to play, but then you still want to coach, but you got to go play. So when that bug finally hit you and you had that opportunity, you get that opportunity to go out. And one of my good coaches that I like, I went to her camp several times with Coach Messer up at Tennessee Tech.
Yep.
So you get a chance. At that time, I was at Fisk. I was at Fisk from 2006 to 2013. And I got an opportunity to jump on the women's side of the house in 2009. So right at the time you were getting there. So I had actually the opportunity to meet you at that time. But that was back then, and you probably didn't even remember me because I just happened to come up to a couple of the camps, coaches that come up and see what was going on as I was just getting started on my heavy side of recruiting. Then you have that opportunity to leave Tech and then go, of all places, in Ohio at the same time. It's a small school.
Mm-hmm.
Now you starting to get that red road. Take us down that path, then the next two schools, and how did you get to EKU?
Yeah, so it's so funny, like coming into coaching, again, I work with Satia at Georgia Tech. So when she got the head job at Tennessee Tech, she called me and said, hey, I got a coaching position. Are you interested? And at the time, I was actually working for a bank. Like,
okay,
bank, probably on my way to be making six figures, 9 to 5. And
right.
Okay, but I'm still passionate about the game. You know, so I go there with her. We win the OVC in year 2 there. She gets coach of the year. And I needed that at the time because she allowed me to grow, if that makes sense, under her tutelage.
Mm-hmm.
Like what recruiting looks like, you know, player on-court player development, what that looks like and her expectations. And, you know, like in every year she gave me a lot more responsibility, which obviously helped me to grow. And she would always ask me, what's my goals? You know, like trying to groom me in my coaching career. Like, what do I want? And I would always tell her, you know, I want to be the Andrew Calder to my head coach.
Okay.
He was at Carolina for 20 years. Professional teams came after him, but he just looked, I'm like, I want to be somewhere. Like, I don't want to be a head coach. I don't want to be a head coach. I don't want to be a head coach. I told her that my entire time at Tennessee Tech. Not only did I leave there and become a head coach, I started.
You got the opposite wish.
Went opposite. It's so funny. Like, you want to make God laugh, tell me your plans. So, you know, I went opposite there, started the program. It was the first gray hair I got. I started drinking coffee, you know, being in the head coaching chair. But that was good for me. Like, it allowed me to learn a lot about me, you know. I leave there. I go to West Alabama, which is a D2 school, and lives in Alabama.
I know West Alabama. I know West Alabama very well down there. And I like the golf course in the front of the school down there, too. Down there. Oh, my goodness.
It's nice. You know, so I go there, play with a coach who recruited me, or coach with a coach who recruited me out of high school. Was there for 2 years. Left there, went to Georgia Southern. Was at Georgia Southern for 2 years. Left Georgia Southern, came here, and just finished up year 3 at EKU.
Oh, man, that is phenomenal. And you music to my ears. Of course, I'm here right down the street from you. I'm in Nashville, OBC territory, but I'm also in ASUN territory. So as you get in here with Lipscomb and these guys, you know, making sure I get a chance to come watch you and all that. We're going to do some big things. Of course, I got a few recruits, so we're going to talk about that as well. But you sitting there, who can you give some big accolades or big kudos to that's currently playing for you that you think that's ready to make that turn, whether a few, say a good season or two, they end up in the league, or maybe a good opportunity to go overseas? Anybody in particular?
Yeah, I mean, since I've been here, we've had a player every year that's played overseas.
Okay. You
know, multiple ones. So Coach Todd, my boss right now, like we dub him the transfer coach. I mean, the transfer portal is nuts right now anyway, but you know, I'm at the stage in my career. It's all about the people. The people make the place. And at EKU, like, these are my babies right here. Like, not only do we do a very good job of getting the right people in here, even with transfers, getting the right people here, like the whole athletic department from top to bottom is just surrounded by good people who are in it for the right reasons. No coach you would meet is in it for them. Like, it's all about the student athletes here. You know, like it's literally all about them. And so probably will be Antoinette Walker. She came to us. She transferred to us last year. She played 2 years here. She came in from Marquette, and you know, like, especially when they're my position, like we all have position coaches. When they're my position, I'm very honest with them. My very first meeting before we do any workout is, what do you want? You know, because I want to help you, but what do you want? You know, like, if you just want to have a good time, like, I don't need to be your coach. You can go, you know,
Right,
like,
you go because I'm too competitive for that. I'm about to
yeah,
snap off. So, yeah.
I'm too about my business for that, you know. But for her, she said, Coach, I want to see every stat line of mine increase from what it did last year. She was like,
Okay,
not just points.
great goal.
Yeah, she was like, I want to assist, rebounds. She was like, you know, I just want to be better. And this young lady, you know, she actually declared for the draft. I mean, she could have went and played overseas her first year. She was up for the Don Staley Award. She was actually up for 3 national awards her first year here. Led us in scoring, you know, like just remarkable. But a lot of people, what they don't understand is her work ethic. You know, like she works me, she pushes me.
Yeah,
you know, like she's doing her.
But those are good though, Coach. We just talked about. I was telling my kids this weekend. You know, those are the little things that there's no category for that on a stat sheet. Like I tell these guys, no one's going to call and say, "Hey, I pulled a stat sheet on you last night. And I saw Williams. She worked real hard." That's not on the stat sheet. Yeah. You know, jumping on the floor and diving on the floor, those are not on the stat sheets. Those are the little bitty things that can make that difference between someone really saying you really a ball player or you just out there.
Yeah, she's been definitely monumental in our success. Like we don't have a 22-win game this season without her. Like she just elevates. Right. Yeah, like she reminds me a lot of myself, you know, just in regards to her work ethic and her drive of wanting to be the best. Like that's
good.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
Oh man, that's good. And speaking of drive, what do you think in terms of driving what the girl Caitlin Clark has done for women's basketball and the number 1 overall pick to where? To your Indiana Fever.
Listen,
man. And so this is a blessing. I bring you on tonight. You close out my show for season 1. I get you coming out of tobacco, my boy MJ territory, and then you are a superstar with the Fever, and then you sit here on draft night, and the number 1 draft pick out of the Big Ten, baby, goes to the Indiana Fever.
Yeah, like I absolutely love where women's basketball is headed. First of all, women's basketball is in good hands. Like you look at this draft class and just the superstars in the NCAA right now, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, from not just Caitlin, the Angel Reese, Cardosa, the Juju.
And don't forget about Cameron Brooks out of Stanford. She's a piece too.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's women's basketball is 100% in good hands because these young ladies, I mean, Hidalgo at Notre Dame, like these
young Hidalgo. And Juju Watkins at USC.
Juju's a pro right now. Like if you could go on the side and play 1 year and be done, Juju probably would have went top 5 in the draft.
Exactly. I wish they changed that for the men. Now, it's a perfect conversation right here because you get to be that person that can answer these questions I get all the time. And I know, so we go back to the national championship game, right? Even last year, they were competitive right under boys, about a few millions. And then they surpassed them at the championship game of LSU. Now, this year, 4.5 more million people watched the women's championship game than the men. But here's the staggering stat line that you get out of that. The women's basketball is growing. But with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cardosa right there, and a few other ones making several $1 million on the NIL, helping them out as student athletes in college. Now they go sign between $80,000 and $100,000 a year minimum, whereas in the men's minimum is 1.5. That has got to change, and I'm hoping that the NBA. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know if you saw the stat earlier, Coach. They said with the signing of Caitlin Clark, now think about it, top 5 draft pick. Caitlin Clark goes number 1.
Great.
Cameron Brooks goes number 2. Cardosa goes to Chicago Sky. So 2 of your teams get up in there. Ricky Jackson goes to LA Sparks, and then Jason Sheldon goes to Dallas. So you're looking at that top 5. And then Angel Reese, she gets to come to the Shine. We about to be balling. I'm telling you right now. Hey, the arena downtown going to be off the charts. I'm telling you. So looking at that and looking at what they were talking about, they said that the average ticket price for women's basketball just within a week just went from $55 to $175, $175, jumped up $125. The question to you, can they also offset the salary, and what do they need to do in order to make that happen?
I think they can down the line. Like, again, I think the momentum right now is where it needs to be. But if you're talking meeting where the NBA is, like that's down the line. We know it. It needs to be more teams like the WNBA. Like there needs to be an expansion that needs to happen.
Yep.
I just saw.
You got what you got? We got Oakland coming in this year, right? San Fran's coming in.
Yep,
I'm hoping they get one down here in Nashville so you can get that job so I can get on the bench with you. That's for sure.
I honestly say all the time, I think Nashville would do really well.
Yes.
I think Nashville would do really well. And Serena Williams just talked about, she wants to own a WNBA team. So again, like I think the momentum is there. Like it has to first be marketable. Like even if you look at the NBA back in the day, like the people like Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, like they put it on the map,
right.
For the guys that's playing now. So the old hands, shout out to my WNBA legends. So the old heads,
I love that shirt too.
Yeah, like they, we were doing the groundwork, not even we, because it was the ones that came before me who played in the ABL. Like they did the legwork to kind of get the momentum to where now the Caitlin Clarks, they can come in, and kind of benefit from that. So, I think it will be, but marketing first, like the interest is there. Like it has to be an interest of the people for it to grow. And I definitely think when it comes to women's basketball, I mean, you see it, everybody watches women's sports, it's on the rise. So I think it can get there, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Oh yeah. I love the way Caitlin, as you just said, gave accolades. She's been, some of these young girls, like I talked to my son there, but I always laugh and say, name me some NBA ball players before 1985, and you cannot use like Jordan and all those guys. You got to give me somebody different. These young guys struggle because back in the day we had to learn the game. So when I look at this and I see someone like Caitlin Clark give homage out to Don Staley, give homage out to Cynthia Cooper, that's the real Jordan, right? Cheryl, Swoops, and all these people. I mean, Lisa Leslie, that is phenomenal. And these were, Lisa and these guys was coming to the league with you at the time. Grandmama was in there, you know what I'm saying? She was coming down. So it's amazing to see where in the early 80s it fell off and picked back up. And then Cynthia and Cheryl them saved the league. And then now the WNBA 26 years now been rocking and rolling and getting even better. So I'm telling them, pay these young ladies. Where the NCAA is making them make more money in college. The good thing about that is because the young women in college cannot go to the league until they're 21 or their junior year, at least the NIL helps offset that and give them some early money. Yeah. But I would love to see them do something to keep our young women from having to go overseas, because when they finish up, they can't enjoy their family like the men do, because most of them got to go overseas to make some more money.
Yeah. And again, like I think we will get to that, like I know it's certain leagues, like you have the AU, the Athletes United, that plays in Vegas.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, it's a way. I think it'll be another league that Stewie and those guys are working on, for a way to where you don't have to go overseas. Like you can play in the United States year round. But again, like it all starts with the want and the desire too. Like, again, you look at the NBA, like they wanted more. And so because of the fans wanted more, they got more. And now that's why I think the game is in such great hand with these young ladies who are putting it on the map, because fans are wanting more. And so now we have a market to do more.
Now, I'm going to ask you the closing question the other night. I got to get your opinion because they've asked me and I know mine. I'm going to tell it to you. You got that young lady right there, Caitlin Clark, that just crushed everything as a basketball player, men or women. So now she's bringing it to the WNBA. And I think, they said the ticket sales, I don't even know if you knew this or not, but your beloved Fever, they announced tonight, your beloved Fever. Last year, they had only 2 games on national TV. Next season, they will play 36 out of 40 games on national TV. And they said that the seats have already sold out. So my question to you is this. Mr. Ice Cube offered that young lady $5.5 million to come and bring that game to the Big Three, right, to play. So what are your thoughts in terms of a WNBA professional having an opportunity with a kick in the door be open to make almost 500 times the amount of money that she would make in the WNBA.
Yeah. I mean, it was cute what Ice Cube did. You know, like I get his point because of the 4-pointers that they have in the big three. Caitlin probably making them with her eyes closed.
Yeah, she's making them, and she's bringing some revenue in. But I'm looking at you back in the day. You was a dog. You didn't care if you played the boys. After you'd took it.
Yeah, but it's different, you know, and not like that's why I say it was cute. But to me, it's unrealistic, you know, because the game of basketball is more than just standing and shooting threes. Like physicality alone, like is she gonna go in there and guard Boogie Cousins if you're switching on defense? You know, like it's just unrealistic. So it would be cute, maybe like a charity game or something like that. Like that would be
kind of like what Steph and Sabrina did.
Yeah, you know, something like that to where it's just, you know, based off her skill, but to play an actual game like the NBA is way too. I mean, you're talking about a grown man against a grown man. It's just,
that's funny because that was my answer. They asked me about it, and I said I would take it if I'm Kayla. I'll take it in a heartbeat. But I'm gonna let Ice Cube know up front I ain't playing no D.
Now, if all you want me to do is stand and shoot, I'll do it. Pay me $5 million.
I'm gonna do everything I do. I'll play a little bit. I ain't playing a lick of D. I come off a couple screens, do what I need to do. Yeah, y'all figure out that that's Paul. But I ain't. You think I'm gonna let Boogie Cousins bag me down?
Nah, not today. I still got to go play this WNBA career. Y'all
I still got to go play. And he bagged me down and turn around and accidentally catch me with an elbow.
Exactly. Now I'm out. Now I'm missing out on money because the best ability is availability. Now I'm injured. Yeah. No.
Right. Now I'm into coaching real quick.
Exactly.
Man, listen, Coach Brown, I thank you so much. It has to go off. You are welcome to come back anytime. I appreciate the time tonight. I definitely want you to come back, talk basketball. Matter of fact, I want to bring you back on doing season 2 because it's the off season. I want you to bring a couple players in with you so we can sit down because I want the audience to hear it from the player's perspective of the workouts, the daily grind, what it takes to be a Division I basketball player. And they're not even in a Power 5 school, but look at the work ethic they having to put in, but they still got the same dreams of making it at a high level. So I want to make sure you come back. The doors, as they say, the doors of the church always open.
For sure. No, I appreciate the invite. This was a blast. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, I appreciate you. You guys have been listening to the one and only Coach Tony on the Pull Up Podcast show. And there's my girl, Val the Voice. What's up, Val?
Oh my gosh, I had to jump on and say thank you so very much, Coach, for coming on. And like I said, it's a real honor to have you here and to let us know. This was my first time in some years watching the WNBA draft. I was saying that in the chat. And so this has been, I'm really excited to see the direction of where women's basketball is going. And it's because of phenomenal coaches and players like yourself.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Like Kaylin Clark said, you help kick the door in so they can you help kick the door down so they can step right in.
Yeah. Well, it was before me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, you had a couple feet in there too, though. You know.
Yeah, I slipped my little pinky toe in there.
Yeah, that's a little pinky toe right there, right?
Get in there. That's awesome.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us on tonight. And whenever you want to pull up, you're always welcome.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Love.
Thank you, Coach. See you later. We'll be talking. I got some things for you, so I'll give you a buzz.
For sure.
I talk to you soon.
See you.
Peace.
Man. I'm like a ball player to play. Knock him out.
My mind is blown. My mind is blown. Like, and it happened, how ironic, in Brooklyn, down the street where I used to live at the Barclays Center, where they had their had the WNBA draft. But just to see these young ladies, just to get so excited, and to have their family around. A couple of first draft picks were from out of the country.
Yeah,
out of Australia, out of France and Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here going, what a wonderful thing, where now players are coming here to play because the WNBA is growing and getting that world round recognition instead of the women having to go overseas and play.
Well, they're now coming over here to us.
They're coming here to us. So that's one thing I want to make
sure. Doing it for a while, so it's good to see the women get that opportunity.
I know. And Travala Jackson, she says there were a lot of new eyes watching the WNBA draft this year. And she says,
I mean, that is phenomenal. And then just think about the other thing, though, too, Val, as you just mentioned as well. You know, I was so glad that Coach took the time. You don't know. There was a lot of texting going back and forth for weeks. Hey, Coach, I got to get you on the show. And I had no idea until she and I started talking. I totally forgot. I knew she went to NC because I'm always following women basketball coaching, but I totally forgot that she had got traded to Fever, and then to have her on the show tonight, and then to have Caitlin Clark be drafted to the Indiana Fever, #1 overall. That was just a blessing to have her on the show, the whole team, and and she's one of those people that the Fever or Caitlin Clark will have the opportunity to reach back and ask some questions and get some knowledge. That's awesome.
I think that would be great. And I'm telling you, if people wanted to know more about what you do in regards to Rise, the NIL, where would people go for that? Because I'm so fascinated and happy that you literally have an episode that just talks strictly about name, image, and likeness. A lot of these young ladies that are going to the WNBA, some of them already have their NIL deals already locked in. But what's your company? What do you do?
Well, thanks, Val, for that question. The funny part about it is, yesterday on the way home, we played in Cincinnati, and I stopped by, happened to get some gas and get something to eat, and bumped into a young lady yesterday who was from the Ohio area. They're going back to Ohio, and I'm heading home to Nashville. And we get on the subject, and her daughter was a volleyball player, and we start talking about the NIL, and she was like blown out of the water. So I got up another potential client I got to work on. And so at the Rise NIL, what we do is we match our athletes and our brands together. We bring brands to our athletes as opportunities. We bring the athletes to the brands for opportunities to make sure that the brands have an opportunity to utilize the athletes to put the brand out there and push it to the world, actually. And then the athletes make sure that they have an opportunity to be compensated for what they're doing work-related. So it's a great mix. You can go out to www.RizeNIL.com.
That's what I'm talking about. And thank you so very much for that, Coach. My gosh. So we're just doing a brief break. It's not too long of a break, but it's just going to be a brief break for the Pull Up Podcast show. We're going to show you a couple of episodes in the coming weeks to close out the month of April. It'll still be streaming at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern for the Pull Up Podcast. But first part of May, we'll be back. And I like to call it, since we only went 11 episodes, we're going to probably go another 11 episodes to make it your full first season. That's
I'm hitting y'all with, I'm hitting you guys with such heavy hitters like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray, Leonard, what I'm saying, Holyfield and Tyson. I got to reload. and the cool part about it is you think that you liked part 1 of season 1. Where do you see part 2 of season 1 come about? I've got some more heavy hitters coming down. We got baseball season coming up. I'm going to try to reach out to some Major League Baseball guys. We got NFL summer football coming up. Try to get some NFL guys on here. And obviously, the NBA finals are coming up. So for promotional purposes only, I will make sure I get you guys what's happening by then.
That's what I'm talking about. Join us on tomorrow night for Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. We have another great guest coming on, one of the phenomenal actresses out of Atlanta. My gosh, I got a chance to talk with her and confirm her for this coming talk on Tuesdays. But we're going to be talking about one of the shows series, Quiet on the Set, and it's the disturbing things that's been happening with child actors. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. It's
I
streamed
got that
on.
with Jaleel. I think it was Jaleel that from what name was talking about that.
Right, exactly. And mainly with the folks with Nickelodeon. I got a chance to finish up watching that series, but to talk to someone that's already in the industry, she literally just booked a couple of great things. And I want to make sure that I bring her on tomorrow night. She just confirmed literally during the show. So I was like, okay, great. We're talking about that. Here's a King Wise. He says, Coach Tony is hitting nothing but net today. So, but we're going to be back on next. Like I said, we'll be back on tomorrow live with Interlude Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. But of course,
and that's why we call it the pull up.
That's right.
Pull up.
So come back to next week and we'll have another great episode for the Pull Up Podcast. So for myself and Coach Tony, we're signing out, man.
Hey, before I get out of here, Wise, make sure you get at me while I'm down recouping, getting part 2 of season 1 together. I can make sure I jump on the Wise show with you. But I work, man, Val.
Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. So I said bounce the voice.